Mahayana traditions where they listen to all the others or sutta or the Ijamji and all the others. What happened to them?
If you study those Mahayana Sutras, as I have studied for 9 years, and you will know that there are contradictions with the Theravada Suttas. That's one thing. Secondly, if you study the Suttas, you find among Mahayana Sutras themselves there are contradictions. And then the third thing is that the Buddha gave a warning, I think in this Samyutta Nikaya, I think it's 20.7, the Buddha said in the future, people will not listen to his words, the discourses of the Buddha, dealing with emptiness, dealing with not self, dealing with suffering and all that. Instead, people want to study the words of later disciples. So, when the Buddha talks about the words of later disciples, that refers to Mahayana Sutras, because Mahayana Sutras appeared 500 years after the Buddha's passing away. Started by people like Nagarjuna, Asvagosa, Vasubandhu, etc. And in the biography of Nagarjuna, what the Chinese call Longsu Pusa, he was asked, how is it that previously there were no such sutras? Now you say that these are the words of the Buddha, discourses of the Buddha. Then he said he went to the dragon palace under the ocean and took out all these sutras. That we cannot accept because firstly the Buddha says that he does not have the closed fist of a teacher, he does not hide certain teachings. And also the Buddha said very clearly that the true Dhamma is for all to see. Only deviant teachings are secretive. If any teachings are secretive, there must be something wrong with it. That's why they want to be secretive. So that's one thing. The other thing is that during the Buddha's time, there were no books. So how could the Buddha have hidden the books in the dragon palace? There were no books during the Buddha's time. Books only appeared 500 years after the Buddha's passing away, right? Thirdly, if you look at the Mahayana Sutras, at the back of the Sutras, they always encourage people to rewrite those sutras and distribute. Now, during the Buddha's time, nobody could have asked anybody to write the sutras and distribute because there were no books during the Buddha's time. So we know definitely all these writings appeared years later. And another thing you find in Mahayana Sutras, it is characteristic of Mahayana Sutras to always talk about Mahayana and Hinayana, the big vehicle and the small vehicle. And that shows the Sangha had already split. But during the Buddha's time, the Sangha was one Sangha. There was no split Sangha, no Mahayana and Hinayana. So these Mahayana Sutras must have occurred hundreds of years after the Buddha's passing away, then when the Sangha was split into different sects. The other thing is not only later teachings, it's not only Mahayana Sutras, but even in Theravada sect himself, you have commentaries, those are later teachings. You have Abhidhamma, you have Visuddhimagga, all those are later teachings. Of course, there are certain good things inside there, but unfortunately it is mixed with Dhamma, things that are contradictory to what the Buddha said. So because of that, you have to be very careful.